sign. So for
Yeah.
everybody who's tuning in right now, Rebecca Gordon is one of my favorite astrologers and an amazing teacher. She's actually got a beginner's astrology class happening on September 30th. It's also got a certification program tracked with it as well. And we're going to talk more about that. So that's coming really, really soon. And we'll tell you how you can go and sign up for that when we get to the end of this. But Rebecca is someone I've taken many classes with. She's a fabulous teacher. I always learn so much from her. So Rebecca, thank you for coming. I'm so glad that you're here tonight.
Theresa, it's such an honor to be with you. I love our communions here on IG Live. It's always been a blast with you. And yes, beginners class is launching, which is sort of like the big thing every year that I do for, I mean, I'm kind of, I don't know how I feel about saying this, but 17 years it's been this beginners, I know, 17 years. So, yes. And tonight, actually, you are all the first people to hear that it's happening because the email that it announces it doesn't go out until tomorrow. So we're first announcing it here that that is happening again this year. And it's a secret. Yes. So, and we're talking about secrets of your moon sign tonight, which was
Yes.
one of my favorite topics. Theresa and I were chatting a couple of weeks ago. We're like, what would be a good topic? Let's just like dish it. Let's just go there. Let's do like offshore drilling at some undisclosed location and get those secrets up. So we said that's it. So that's what we're going to give to you tonight. And we'll be doing some tarot, some astrology as we walk through the moon signs, or should we say like soar through the moon signs? Maybe it's a better word. Yeah.
We're going to soar through the moon signs. We are going to give people the down low. So, for people who are listening, a lot of us, when we think of astrology, we think about it through our sun sign lens. We think, well, I'm a Gemini, and this is what Gemini is all about. But astrology is much deeper than that. And the moon is really important. And Rebecca, could you tell people in a nutshell, why is the moon so important?
Why is the moon so important? Well, first of all, it's half of the day night. It's half of the time on Earth. Whether we have half the time in day, half the time in night. And why would we just focus on the light half of it? Why would we not focus on the other, which we just happen to be asleep for a lot of the time? But often when the moon is up, we just don't see it because the sun blocks its light. So it's literally 50% of you if you consider sun one day and night. Um, in the Western world, I guess, our culture doesn't give a lot of credence to the moon sign because the Western culture is very much about what do you do? What are your aspirations? What are you striving towards? But the moon sign is much cheaper. It says, well, how do you act when nobody's looking? What are your gut reactions? What are the things you sort of can't stand about yourself? You fear you've inherited, or those things that you just do unconsciously? What are your deepest feelings? What is your soul desire? This is your moon sign. And if we don't pay attention to it, we literally get sick, we get frustrated, we get anxiety, we get depression. We are not going to be happy individuals if we just focus on our sun sign. And so that's the nutshell of it. And I think it's just, we have to, like, what does it feel like? Okay, everybody listening, just try this out. To say, I am, and say your moon sign instead of your sun sign. See what that feels like.
Mm.
See what it feels like to really connect to that.
Well, I'm a Scorpio moon and I really connect with my Scorpio moon. And it's something that I'm very lunar driven. So I know for myself when I'm really being me, even though the Gemini thing always comes through, that moon in Scorpio is like that undercurrent, the
Mm-hmm.
undercurrent. And so it's so powerful. And
Yeah,
moons are powerful. I mean, they control the oceans, the tides, they control women's cycles. So the moon is a powerful presence in our life. Why wouldn't it be powerful in our natal charts?
exactly. What you just said about the moon controlling the tides, the
Mhm.
cycles for women. Exactly. And you even know that all crustaceans are born in a full moon. Like the cycle of the moon is so vital. I mean, it's a cycle of life. And
Mhm.
so, yeah. And especially as women, it's just vital that we're connected to the lunar cycles.
Mhm.
And that we start, I think we should all start using a lunar calendar too, but that's for another day and time. So,
Right
um,
on.
so, oh, shall we? So we were talking earlier about the run of show for all of you today. We were thinking that we would start with a bit of astrology for each moon sign. So starting with a bit of, we'll be trad and start with Aries and sort through the zodiac. And as we do each moon, the astro style, then Theresa will give it in the tarot style. And what will you be sharing then?
Yes, so you will be, I'm going to show you the cards that are connected with each sign, and then I'm going to tell you what that means for your moon sign from a tarot perspective. So just a little tarot tidbit we're throwing in here, because, you know, astrology is so fascinating. Everything falls under astrology, and tarot's the same way. They all work together so brilliantly to give us an idea of who we are and our place in the world and how we can show up as our best self. So this is just going to be a little fun something extra for you all to give you something to think about with your moon. So let's go ahead and start with Aries. So what is the secret of the Aries moon? My husband's got an Aries moon. What do people need to know about an Aries moon?
First of all, let's just think about this is the most primal, instinctual sign of the zodiac. And it is the completely unedited, pure emotion. Like, this is not somebody to hold back their affection. If they love you, however they feel, they're going to say it. And you know what? They might embarrass themselves. They might feel really stupid afterward. But this does not matter. If it's an Aries moon, there is no such thing as game face, and you will see it all. There is just everything is out there, and you have to love that purity of it. Sometimes people might see it as a bit naive, but it's just so pure and loving. They hate lists. They don't like to make lists. They like to just do things. Like, why write it all down? We're just going to go straight to it. Never give an Aries moon a list of anything or an Aries sun. However, I just love their freshness. It's like clean punches. If any of you do martial arts, it's just kind of like that, but loving ones, you know? It's like those clean, loving punches. And yeah, they're just amazingly genuine and honest, but can't keep a game face with it.
Mm-mm. They're brutally honest. My husband is the most honest person I know, so I agree with that. So Aries is connected to the card the Emperor. And that means every Aries, to some degree, they want to feel in charge of their life. They do not want you telling them what to do. My husband hates it when I nag. And that's one thing we have to know about. If you have an Aries moon, you're very independent. You like to be in charge of your life. You don't want somebody calling the shots. You need to be free to call the shots as you see fit. An Aries moon and the Emperor, when they're the shadow side, is sometimes putting yourself first above everyone else. So an Aries moon has to be careful of not trying to commandeer things and be selfish.
Absolutely. And what you said about autonomy is so key. They need their own space and time. I love it.
Yep.
And the color red was so prominent there too in
Oh
that
yeah.
card. So that made
And
a lot of
also the
sense.
card, there's a little ram heads in the card.
Oh wow,
So
there is. So Aries
yeah.
moon. Love it.
All right. So what
Okay.
about Taurus? Taurus is the exalted moon. My daughter has a moon in Taurus. What do we need to know about that?
Okay, good question. So Moon in Taurus just loves like the Sun in Taurus, but quite different because when we're talking about the moon, we're talking about the core needs. Like you cannot live without it. Taurus moon absolutely needs in their daily routine things to taste good and feel good and smell good, like perfumes that are beautiful around them, fragrances, fabrics, all of that is an essential as well. It's not just like, oh, that would be nice. I enjoy this. You must have a very aesthetic, feel good environment. In relationships, Moon and Taurus are probably a bit more likely to stay at the restaurant and linger on and on and on with you. Like if you go out with them, they're just going to kind of say, let's order another espresso. Let's just hang out a bit more. They are not, you do not ever want to rush a Moon in Taurus. Let them take their time.
And the moon in Taurus, Taurus is associated with the Hierophant. And the thing about the Hierophant likes structure. They like having a certain set of rules. They want to know what to expect. So I always find with Taurus moon people, you don't want to come at them out of nowhere with things. There has to be a certain level of decorum. There has to be some rules. There has to be some traditions. That helps Taurus feel safe. When Taurus feels like everything is out of control and there's no structure, that really messes with them. So the Hierophant, which people sometimes look at as just a religious card, but it's actually about rules and structures. And for Taurus moon people, They need to know what's going on. They need to know what the lay of the land is. Whereas Aries moon, they don't want to know that. They want an adventure. Taurus moon, we don't want that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love that card too, the Hierophant. Um, so shall we go into Gemini?
Yes, Gemini. Now my son is a Gemini moon. We've got my family all in the beginning with these moons. So what do we need to know about Gemini moon?
Well, a couple of things. First of all, you know what? I'm just getting very thirsty. I'm gonna have to walk and get some water while I continue talking. Hold on one second.
That's fine.
Can I actually put it on? Never mind. Let's see if I can do this. Okay. You know what? Hold on. Can you hold on 1 second?
Yeah, sure.
Hold on. Okay. Let's see if I can do this. If I can just get a bit of water while I'm talking. Hold on. Oli, can you get me a bit of water? Okay, my partner
Also
will.
for
Thank you.
people who are here, someone asked if they're going to be able to ask questions. We might not have enough time for it, so I'm not going to guarantee that. And somebody also asked about the Black Moon Lilith and the nodes. We're not covering that. That's
Yeah.
something for another day. We just want to talk about the natal moon today. That's what we want to focus on. So I want to make sure
Yeah.
that I don't think you're ignoring. I saw your questions, but we want to stay on track. All
And we
right,
can go for an hour, 45 to an hour. That's fine. Okay, so Gemini moon. What they absolutely need is like if you are sounding very, okay, I thought I would tell secrets of the moon sign, so here it is. Okay, so if you sound to a Gemini moon, if you sound like you really want something to be one way, like this is the way it is, let's just do that, that's the plan, I guarantee you they will show you all the benefits of playing the other way. But if you announce something to a Gemini moon, like, well, there's this side, and we could see that, these pros and cons, and then we could look at life over there, and then they will have, more of a candid conversation, consider. So it's never good to be too opinionated with the Gemini moon if you really want. Definitely, you want to explore with them. You always want to be in that exploratory, inquisitive space with a Gemini moon sign. What they need, their souls need to always be learning. They need to always be asking questions and playing devil's advocate. And again, they will always offer you something that's a bit controversial, sometimes even disturbing, just to kind of get you riled up. They love that. They thrive on it. Let's get into a debate. Let's get into a conversation. Let's have different points of view. But I'll say this again. You do not want to be too opinionated if you really want things to go a certain trajectory with one. So that's what I have to say.
That is so true. That is my son in a nutshell. In a nutshell. And once in a while, him and I get into it. So I know. So for Gemini, the card is the Lovers. And this is a really interesting card because, oftentimes we think of it as romance. And I think for Gemini moon people, they really want to be deeply loved. They do. But they also want the freedom to have other choices. And the one thing that I find with Gemini moon people, as soon as things feel like it gets stale or boring, whether it's relationships, whether it's job, they're already got one foot out the door. And if you look at this figures in this card, here the male figure is looking at the female, but what is she doing? She's looking somewhere else. That's Gemini moon. They want options. They want choices. They want to feel like, okay, I've got other things I can be doing. I'm not stuck here. So the key to a Gemini moon heart is they need to feel like they've got the space and they have options.
Absolutely. Said so well. Do not confine them. Don't cramp the style. Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So what about our Cancer moon? Now the moon rules Cancer, so it's at home here.
Oh, yeah. The moon loves to be in Cancer. However, Cancer moon people, you can say they get moody. You can say, they get into an emotion. They want to really feel it. They want to go there. They want to feel it. They want to kind of thaw out on a feeling. And you need to give them that space. They are not necessarily quick to move on from it. They want to play a song. They want to go there, experience it. So if you were with a Cancer moon, or if you know a Cancer moon, give them time. Give them time to process that and everything like that. I was going to say, again, this is the home of the moon sign, as you mentioned. It's called the dignity of the moon. So we can also say the Cancer moons are really well adept at experiencing the full range of emotion, and they enjoy moving through all of the emotions. They can get stuck in a feeling, though. I'll say this. Know that they're going to get out of it, and they need to feel safe. They need emotional safety. You're okay. I love you. Would you like a cup of tea? Here's a pillow. That sense of just creature comforts is so key for the Cancer moon too.
So true. Every Cancer moon I know is like that. And the card that's associated with the Cancer is the Chariot. And a lot of people look at that like the Chariot. Well, shouldn't it be the moon? Well, no, the moon is associated with Pisces, which we'll get to. But Cancer is very protective. Cancer wants to protect the home. And when you look at the Chariot, he's wearing like hard armor, just like the Cancer shell. Cancers want to protect their own emotions, number one. So they'll sometimes put a hard little shell over it. They wear their armor. And
Mhm.
when someone is coming for their home or their family, that's when Cancers go into high gear. They are the ultimate protector of the home, and they don't want to feel a threat to their family. They will do anything for their family. Even if their family are jerks, Cancer is going to protect them. You know, the statement, blood is thicker than water, with Cancers, that is true. Do not ever, ever go after the Cancer's loved ones, because that's when you're going to see the claws come out.
Yes, yes. And even friends, family, anybody who they really care about, they're deep protectors. I love that about them.
Yep.
Yes.
Hmm.
Okay,
All
Leo
right.
moons.
Leo moon.
All right. And it's so great to see the cards for each moon sign. I haven't seen those
Hmm.
before. Okay. So I'm just situating in this B&B. I hope it's okay over here. Can you all hear me okay? Because I'm sort of talking softer than usual. Is the volume all
Oh no,
right?
it's great. It's
Okay.
great.
All
And
right.
people actually like the fact that we're kind of being whispery.
It's a secret. Shh. Okay. Okay, Leo moons. So a couple things. First of all, obviously Leo's like the sun, the center of the solar system, and we have all the glitz and glamour there. However, if Leo's your moon sign, your core needs, we're talking about what you really need. You really need to be seen. You really need to be told that you are beautiful and wise and incredible and amazing. You do need that pat on the back and that adoration often. And it's not something
Hmm.
I want you to deny and pretend you're all modest about. No, you need that and own it. In the workplace, if you're Leo Moon, if you know Leo Moon, they need to be told they did a good job. This all said,
Hmm.
if they are told that, and if they are glorified and given just lavish with compliments, your Leo Moon will just be so divinely generous to you and give back. It's like the sun that will give back its rays like tenfold. So just by giving them that light to make them shine brighter, by complimenting them, by showing them love, they will give you just unending generosity. And that's something that I don't think a lot of people realize. They think, oh, why do they need all of that attention? Well, give them a little bit of that. They're Leo Moon and see what happens. So that's what I want to say about Leo Moon.
My mother had a Leo moon, and my mother wanted to be the belle of the ball all the time. That was her thing. When she passed on, we said she's probably up there in heaven checking the angel's wings to see what size it is. That's my mother. And
I
so
love
for
it.
Leo's associate with the strength card, and Leo rules the heart, and Leos have great big hearts, and they're very courageous. And the one thing for Leos that I find, even though they get the reputation for being an egomaniac or whatnot, ultimately they are big hearted, they're super courageous, they are thinking about other people. Believe it or not, they are. It just may sometimes not come off that way. And if we look at this card, look at how the lion is so safe with that other figure. Leos love to be in relationships. They love to love. They love to give of their hearts. They actually give a lot. So if you ever hear a thing about Leos being like all about the ego, they actually want to love deeply. They want to give deeply. I mean, they're all about that. Their strength is in their
So true.
ability to love.
So true. I love that you said that. Their strength is in their ability to love. Beautiful. Yes.
Hmm.
Hello, Leo moons. Okay. We'll talk about Virgo moon next. All right.
Hmm.
Hold on. We just got back. I have to just quick halftime. I have to tell everybody. I did like a 14-hour hike today. I've never done anything like that in my life. Like, oh my God. Okay. I've just hiked the cliffs in Ireland, the cliffs of Moher, all over the islands and everything. Like, I can't believe I'm standing my feet. Oh my. So it's midnight here, like just so you all
Hmm.
know. Okay, we're gonna go into Virgo moon next, but I
Hmm.
am very thirsty. We just got back from everything. So I'm gonna ask my partner really quick for another glass of water. If you guys hold on one second. Oli, can I have another glass of water, please? Okay. 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 So we will continue. Um, Virgo moon time. Who's a
Hmm.
Virgo moon here?
Tarot and
Um,
tequila is a Virgo moon.
okay. So, oh yeah, some of you have been to the Cliffs of Moher too. Amazing. Yeah,
Mhm.
we had the most magical experience. Okay. So great to see you, Virgo Moons, Tarot and Tequila. Welcome. Um, all right. No, we didn't have any tequila, but we did have a whiskey because we're in Ireland here. So that's anyway. So what I have to say about Virgo moons is this. Secrets of the Virgo moon will start with the fact that safety is very important to you.
Mhm.
You want to know that you feel that you are 100% safe in all matters. The next thing is order. You want to know that your day is planned out. The biggest fear of a Virgo moon, I was just talking with my partner about this earlier because we both are Virgos, but he has a Virgo moon. And he was just saying, like, the biggest fear is that the guy who's running the show, who's like steering the ship, doesn't know what he's doing. What if the person in charge is totally incompetent? And we're talking, that's so Virgo moon, you know,
Mhm.
how like that idea of just like the like, can we trust what's going on? Do they have the structure in order? Are we safe? Could we do it better? What if we were going to look at their calcs and see there's something wrong? You know, we're we are always afraid that we could do it better, and maybe we should like handle that thing and stay in charge. Because so there's that sort of underlying fear of that, and I will say that the greatness in a Virgo moon comes in that what's needed for them, what the soul desires, is to serve, to be able to help others. Now they
Mhm.
cannot live without being able to help and to serve. That is like their breathing for them. But make sure that there is that sense of safety. And the
I
person
love
who's
that.
who's running the show is actually running it. Right.
And Virgo is associated with the Hermit. And, here's the interesting thing. Virgo moon always gets a bad rap. People make them sound like they're, not really sensitive, but Virgo moons are reserved. It takes a minute for them to trust you. And so I see the Hermit, as someone who's doing a lot of research. If a Virgo moon if you're coming into a relationship with one, they need to take their time getting to know you. They need to check you out. Don't take that personally. Don't think they're sizing you up. They're trying to make sure you're safe. So they're a little more reserved. And also for Virgo moons, it's important that they have time alone. That time alone helps them to restore themselves. They're very Mercury ruled. They're in their head all the time. So they need that time to step back so that they're not constantly up here. So Virgo moons, you got to give yourself that little peace and quiet. But Virgo moon, they're always analyzing. They're always analyzing, not because again they're judging, but because they want to make sure this is safe. Or like you said, they want to make sure you know that you're running the ship. So if you have one in your world, know that if they give you their trust, if you pass the test, that's huge.
Said well. Yes. If you pass the test, that's the test, of course. Love it. Okay, Libra time. So
Mm-hmm.
Libra moons, Libra moons. All right. The thing I think Libra moons are incredibly different than Libra sun, primarily because Libra moons, like if you put them in an environment that is at all full of any animosity, toxicity, anything that is vile or unbalanced, they simply, their souls, their blood will just curdle. They cannot bear it. And I see more Libra moons in the area of human rights, equal rights, things like that,
Mm-hmm.
more than any other moon sign, because they just cannot bear inequality and inhumane treatment or to be around it. So you see often Libra moons in the front, like people that are like, no, I cannot stand for this. I will not be around it any longer. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Libra suns are quite different there, but I've just noticed this, and I said this is secrets of the moon sign. So it's not the things that you read in the books. These are things that we've just kind of noticed about the Libra moons. Libra suns, I would say some totally different things about, by the way. Um, what else can we say about Libra moons? What I do really love about Libra moons as well um, is that they genuinely understand listening like no
Mm-hmm.
other. Like they really know how to listen and reflect back. And that's such a beautiful quality that you have, Libra moons.
It is, and it's so interesting you brought up about the equality and the justice. because the Justice card is associated with Libra. And so this means that Libras are very driven about doing the right thing. They have a very strong moral and emotional compass. They check in with their feelings. If this feels like this is not the right thing, I'm feeling uncomfortable. You know, I always say with you, if you've got a moon in Libra, if you feel that it's not the right thing, if you feel that it's not ethically or morally correct, it's going to haunt you. So you've always got to listen to those feelings. Your feelings are going to tell you what's real, what's right, what's not. And again, you're all about justice. So Moon and
Yeah.
Libra people, they know what the right thing is. They inherently know what's just, what's fair, what's right. And they just got to always follow that. When they follow
Yep.
their ethical code, they're fine, they're happy. Whenever they're
Yes.
put in a position where they have to go against it, it's
Mhm.
really detrimental for them.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Mhm.
Yes. Who are our Libra moons here? Who are you? Let's see. Welcome. Yeah, it's really good to have one in your life. Okay. So, um, and they will notice injustice when other people don't too. They will point it
Mhm.
out and say, "Did you see what just happened?" Yes.
Yep. Yep, they're very sensitive to that.
Hmm. Completely. All right. So, are we going to talk about Scorpio moon next?
My favorite moon, because it's my moon.
Love Scorpio moons. Who are the
Mm.
Scorpio moons here? Okay. Well, perhaps you could speak about the secrets different because you are the owner of the Scorpio moon. But I mean, I can say some things I've noticed, and
Mhm.
I would love to hear how you experience it too. Um, so many Scorpio moons in the room. Now, a
Mhm.
lot of you probably know if you've studied astrology that you've seen the moon falls in Scorpio, and you're like, oh no, fall, what does that mean? Is this some other archaic astrology word that means something terrible? Well, no, not really. But the fall moons do have a story. They all have a story. And when your moon is in fall or in Scorpio, it's almost literally like there was an experience or an adventure in your life. Something happened where you had to literally fall. And then you
Mm.
had to get back up, figure it out like Humpty Dumpty, put all the pieces back together, and start your life again in a new way. This actually involves a fall. And when we deal with a Scorpio moon, we're talking about something that might have been challenging emotionally through the emotional body, some sort of fall, some sort of challenge that you had to overcome. And your overcoming of that specific challenge is what actually makes you who you are today, the way you overcame that challenge. So, a fall moon, you find the most self realized people, the people that know the most about themselves, Scorpio moons, because they've had to. They've had to figure some things out, peel the layers, do that offshore drilling, what's inside, get to the bottom of the ocean, hit rock bottom, dive back up, go through that cathartic process. And many have lived to share these great lessons with the world. So, as Theresa does today, and so many of you do. So, Scorpio moons are absolute gems, um,
Mhm.
and they are perhaps I think the moons with the most like there's like the darkest, brightest colors there. They can be very
Mhm.
bright and loving and light, and they can also be very dark. And there's the most contrast I've ever seen in any other moon sign.
And you know that fits the card that goes with Scorpio. It's the death card. And death also, the death card gets a bum rap in tarot, just like the moon in Scorpio gets a bum rap in astrology. And what is the death card all about? Well, it is about transformational experiences. And just like you said, how the moon in Scorpio will experience this fall or these intense situations that really help them to grow, so to speak. Death card here says moon and Scorpio people, they're going to have many transformative experiences in their life,
Mhm.
many intense experiences. Rebirth is a huge theme for Moon and Scorpio people. And also, there's another thing with this card. I always think of it when I see this little king laying down. For a Moon and Scorpio person, loyalty is everything, everything. But if you prove to not be a loyal person, it
Yeah.
is off with your head and they never look back. So you never want to betray a Moon and Scorpio. They will always be there for you, but they do not suffer fools or betrayers.
Oh, yeah. Such a good
Mhm.
point. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's why it really fits
All or
with the death
nothing.
card. It's
I love that.
exactly, it's like, nope, if that's the way it's going to be, bye, we're done.
Yeah.
It's like they're not afraid to cut.
Yes. So true. That, can I see
Sagittarius.
that card again? There's something on the
Oh
card.
yeah,
Can you just pull it up? Like these cards, the more you look at them, the more you see, right?
right.
And with that card, there's this sort of sense of like, okay, there's this, you're on a horse, right? So I
Hmm.
think about, okay, that you're continuing the motion. There's death, there'll be a new life after, and there's no other sign as resilient as Scorpio. Like this horse, we're just going to keep on going, no matter what the terrain, no matter what the climate. There's death, there's life, there's catharsis, there's winds, there's snow, there's sun. We just continue on. And they always rise up
Hmm.
again like the phoenix. There's that quality of just continuing, right? Total
Absolutely.
resilience.
Totally. All
Okay,
right,
I love these
Sagittarius moons.
cards.
And we have a
Yeah,
lot of Sagittarius moons in here. I
do we?
saw people popping up saying that. So I think we're going to have
Mhm.
some very interested ears.
Love it. Okay, Sag moons in the house. All right. So Sag moons, different again than Sag suns, right? So
Hmm.
let's talk about the difference between the moon sign and Sag, first of all. So again, these are your core needs. What does your soul really need as a Sagittarius moon? First of all, you need to be able to express yourself no matter what the cost, like full on self expression. If anybody at all cramps your style of what you can say, how you can move, anything like that, they're done. That's not it. It can't work. So I find like such moons, there's not a lot of work environments where they can feel okay in, you know, like they're not going to fit in. They're not going to try to fit in. They don't want to fit in. So they often do well creating their own thing, to be either entrepreneur or just doing things the way they want. You cannot you cannot box them in at all. They will fight back. So absolutely freedom. I see all the Sag moons like yes, yes, yes. All right, welcome Sag moons.
They need freedom and they need truth. And here's something too with the Temperance card is associated with Sagittarius. So when we look at this from the perspective of the moon, Temperance is saying that for Sagittarius people, they are very similar to Gemini in this one respect. Even though they're opposite signs of the zodiac, they like to feel that they have choices. They also have a similarity with the Libra moon, and the Libra moon is all about, again, the moral compass. And this card here shows a figure, they're weighing things out, they're weighing out their options. Unlike Gemini, who's distracted, they're taking their time to weigh things out, test things out. And so for Moon and Sagittarius people, they need time to process their feelings, their choices, and they do like to have a choice. They do like to have a choice. I always say for people, if you want to marry a Moon and Gemini or a Moon and Sagittarius person, don't try to like hold on to them too tightly because that's going to make them run. They always got to feel like there's an option. Then they'll stick around and they won't go anywhere. So they need to weigh their options. But I always see this card as, again, similar to Justice, the good moral compass. And similar to the Lovers, it's like, I need some choices. I need some options. I need room to move. That creates balance for
Mm.
Sagittarius.
It also, yeah, I mean, it kind of reminds me of the Gemini moon in a way too. Like they need those
Mm-hmm.
options. Also, we can do this or that, or and then okay, we have freedom, right? Those signs are so
Mm-hmm.
freedom loving. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, Sag moons.
Well,
Uh,
Mercury Apothecary says, give me all the polyamory. So there you go.
yeah, I was just looking at that comment. I was like, yeah, that's Sag moon. Yeah. Okay. Sure. Okay. So, Capricorn moon time.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So Capricorn moons in astrology, you've also heard perhaps have that word called detriment moon. And this is traditional astrology. And I'm just giving a nod to this because a lot of you might have heard that on the interwebs. Anyway, what that actually means is that when you have a Capricorn moon, your moon is far from its home, which is in Cancer. And
Mm-hmm.
when you are far from home, you have to learn a new language, you have to learn new things, you have to learn new food, how to buy bread. Everything's different, right? And so when we talk about the Capricorn moons, we're talking about a person or you, if you know a Capricorn moon or somebody who has had to also get be very outside of your comfort zone. And again,
Mm-hmm.
with that moon sign comes really powerful, profound, deep life lessons. Similar to Scorpio moon, but also different. Now,
Mm-hmm.
Capricorn, we've talked about security before when we talked about Cancer moons and things like that, but it's a very different type of security when we talk about Capricorns. They need to know their place in the world, that I am this person in the world. And often, if you find a Capricorn moon and they're not comfortable in their profession, they can sometimes feel emotionally ill at ease, not like really just almost physically sick sometimes. It's very
Mm.
important that a Capricorn moon feels good about their positioning in society, with friends, with people who they know. They need their social standing to feel secure. And especially in their career, this must be secure. And they're long term planners. Um, I've seen Capricorns I've known for the last 20 years. They told me things 20 years ago that they said, I'm going to be doing that in 20 years, and they did. There's nobody that follows through like a Capricorn moon as well. Um, but they're also, if they've taken that path, they're also some of the most self-realized moons because they have inherently gone through a great deal more challenges. And as far as being in that so-called foreign country, learning different customs, even though if you haven't traveled foreign country, I'm speaking just like you've
Mm-hmm.
there's been a part of you that it's been uncomfortable where everybody's been different. You've been the odd one out. You've been different from everybody. It's like um, having to acclimate on so many levels. So Capricorn moons, I love you. I think I know so many Capricorn moons that are just the most magnificent people as well. So I think it's one of the most complex moon signs, just like Scorpio.
Mm-hmm. And that's one of the reasons why I love Scorpio moons. Scorpio moons, again, they get a bum rap and they're seen as being materialistic and cold and all of that stuff. But Capricorn moons, you got to earn their
Mhm.
trust. And when you do, they are for life. And when you do them in, let me tell you, Capricorn moon can turn cold in an instant. It's just done. You are cut off. And the card that is associated with Capricorn is the devil. And a lot of times people look at the devil just like they look at the Scorpio death card and they get scared. And the one thing that we want to look at with this card, there's two things I like to think about, is for Capricorn moon, they have to be careful about being possessive and grasping things. That's never healthy for them, whether it's their material things, whether it's the people in their life. When they go into that mode, it's usually because they're scared. And if you're feeling scared, you might find your tendency that is to grasp. So anytime you're going into that, you got to ask yourself, well, what's my fear here? The other thing with Capricorn moon, they actually are very mischievous. They seem reserved, they're like buttoned up, but every Capricorn moon I know has a dirty sense of humor. You just don't get to see it unless you get to know them. They're
Love
wonderful
that.
comedians. They're
Yes,
funny
yes,
as
they do.
hell.
You're right. There's like the most comedians that are Capricorns, and nobody would
Yes.
expect that. It's that dry, cracking humor. We love it so much. Yes, I
Hmm.
love Capricorn humor. And you're right. They can have those workaholic tendencies where they just, okay,
Hmm.
what's the next? What's the next? What's the next? Until they catch themselves. Yes. Um,
Yes.
all right. Those Capricorn comedians. Yes.
Oh
Okay.
my God, they're funny as hell.
The
So
best.
what about Aquarius moon?
Okay, Aquarius moon. All right, let's see. It's so different than Cap. I always have to kind of jump. The moon's in
Hmm.
Aquarius right now, isn't it? I believe it is. Yeah,
Yeah, it is.
yeah,
Hmm.
it is. Okay. So first of all, I love doing IG lives with an Aquarius moon. Be online doing anything like this with an Aquarius moon. We think about Aquarius moons. We think about their core needs. First of all, the the moon rules the emotional body, right? And Aquarius is the sign of the group, the community. So with Aquarius moons, first of all, I see that they have a deep need to feel connected to a community. They love the animals. Strangely, I've seen more vegetarians. I don't know if this is a done thing, but I've seen more vegetarians that are Aquarius moon than anything else. And this has not necessarily been a study or anything like that, but I'll just say they have such a deep love for animals, for humans,
Hmm.
for collectives of people, especially people who have been sublimated, and this desire to
Hmm.
help out people. Their moon sign, it doesn't care if you are their father, their friend, their neighbor. or if you live on the other side of the planet, there is no difference. It's like, we're going to help you no matter what. Like, there's this natural disaster in India, let's send relief. So this is a moon sign that sees no borders, that sees space and time as no barrier between the level of helping another being, whether it's an animal or human. So I found some incredibly humanitarian souls, and maybe this has just been my own perception, but who are Aquarius moons. However, now here's where things get a little tricky. When it comes to personal relationships, it's like somebody can say, well, I thought we were this close and intimate, and you see that they've spent just as much energy devoting to a cause they're very passionate about, something else, and it doesn't mean that that intimate lover is any less special than the other person, but the Aquarius moon energy really is very much connected to the collective of just the collective in general. So there's such a and I think their partners sometimes can feel slighted by that, but it doesn't mean that their partners are any less important. So I just want to say that if you're in a relationship with one of those Aquarius moons too.
And the card associated is the star. And that means Aquarius moon are here to inspire people. That, they're very, like you said, they're very interested in humanitarian things. They inspire people to act. When they're tapped in and tuned into that, the collective, into doing the good works out in the world, everybody wants to get behind them. I think of like anything with Aquarius, I think of Jon Snow from Game of Thrones. That is the energy here. One for all for one, and everybody wants to get behind them. They are the biggest turn on in the lot when they are inspiring others. And the other thing, I look at this card, the figure is completely naked. The one thing I see about Moon and Aquarius people, they are who they are. They're not going to put on any they're not going to put on a false bravado. They're not putting on a mask. They are who they are. What you see is what you get. They are totally comfortable being who they are. Even if you don't like it, they don't care. They're just who they are.
Yes, completely.
Their individuality is so important to them.
Absolutely, it's everything. They might have more in common than the Sag moons than some others, I just realized with that. And also, that's a great point that she's naked there. It's like, this is me. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, that's who I am. Like it or leave it. And, they're not afraid to be weird. And they don't care if you think they're weird. They just are who they are. My sister's a Moon and Aquarius person, and she's actually quite conservative in a lot of ways. But she is who she is. She's very unapologetic about it. And we don't all see eye to eye. She is who she is. And you got to let her do her thing.
Right.
So.
Love it. We're up
Pisces moon.
Pisces time. Okay, Pisces. All right, Pisces moon. I always think of you drop a sponge into the water. Whoa, that's Pisces moon. It's going to soak up everything in the water. These are hands down the most empathic moon signs of them all. A Pisces walks in, Pisces moon, even more than Pisces sun. They pick up every little nuance, especially emotionally, the emotional body of the entire room. A Pisces moon should never enter toxic. I know this is very hard in life. I mean, come on, we're on Earth, but it's very hard not to enter toxic environments and toxic situations at times. But I swear, my Pisces moons are so sensitive. It's almost like they need to take baths and baths after that. Their Pisces moons need, because they pick up on so much, there needs to be a release valve. So Pisces moons must have that, whether it's in a dance or creative art, something that you do where you connect with the vastness, where you connect with something else. You connect with that which is not the seen world. There must be a part of you that is reserved for that connection, or else you're simply run ragged as a Pisces moon. It's really key that you create that attunement in your life. You have a gift. You are incredibly empathic. Don't let other people take advantage of that, Pisces moon. All sorts of needy people might be very attracted to you because you are so giving and you can sense their need. Pisces moons make wonderful counselors and therapists because you just tune right in. But not everybody is worth your time too, Pisces moon. You you are incredibly gifted, and you give so much without even realizing it. People don't often see themselves so easily, you know. And
Hmm.
if you were going to ask your best friend's Pisces moon to tell you a few words about you, I think you should just do that, because they're also very humble. They don't often see themselves and how wonderfully giving and compassionate they are. Um, so that's what I have to say about Pisces moon.
And they are associated with the moon. And the moon is all about our instincts. And Pisces, you have amazing instincts. And the one time, but here's the one thing, Pisces are very compassionate, like you said.
Mhm.
You know, they can't be around these really toxic situations, but they often find themselves getting into it because they feel sorry for people. And I say, if you got a Pisces moon, as soon as you feel sorry for someone, you got to check yourself, because you're going to get in trouble. And the other thing is, if you are ever feeling as a Pisces moon that something is not safe, that it's weird, this is not the time to say, well, I better be tolerant and compassionate. You need to follow your instincts. It will always protect you. It will
Yeah.
keep you out of danger. So moon and Pisces people, never ever ignore those negative feelings. That doesn't mean you're judgmental. It's about discernment. And that's what Pisces moon have to practice, discernment, because they're psychic as hell, but that side of them that wants to be compassionate, it gets them into trouble. They got to watch that.
So true. So
So
true.
that's all of the moons, people. Now, there were a lot of questions, but we're going to be wrapping up here. And one of the things I want to say, I've taken many classes with you. For people who are here, if you have a lot of questions, and if this is sparking questions, you really want to think about signing up for a class with Rebecca. And Rebecca's got her amazing beginner's course, Mastering the Birth Chart. And you want to just tell us more about it? I don't want to like,
Oh,
it's better if you tell
sure.
us what it's all
Thanks
about.
so much, Teresa. So you all are the first to know. Master of the Birth Chart is my well-known beginner's astrology class, which I've been teaching for 17 years now, and we are launching on September 30th this year. So I'm very excited about that. If you love astrology, if you'd like to become an astrologer, or perhaps you just like to take the class to learn more, but we do have a wonderful certification track, I invite you to explore this course. So there's a non-certification track, and there's a certification where you will simply have office hours with me, take a test, and get certified at the end. In the course, I take you through the foundations of astrology. You develop a really strong foundation in astrology. And that's so vital, no matter where you take this. So we begin with the foundations of the birth chart, and then we go through all of the planets, the houses. I mean, I can't tell you how many people have been reading books for 10 years on astrology or going to webinars or whatever. And then they take my class, they're like, finally, you put it
Mm-hmm.
all together and I'm
Yep.
ready. And that's one thing that I do. I take complexity and I bring simplicity to it. I will take all these and make them make sense. I speak in English, and I've graduated many well-known astrologers as well as people who've integrated it into various other professions. So not only do I help you to gain a very strong foundation in astrology, but you really learn how to read a birth chart thoroughly by the end of the course. After that, I'm thinking, well, these people might want to make a career out of this. So then we have another course after, if you'd like to continue, intermediate, and so on. And then we have a career placement program, which I've just created
Yep.
called the RGA Network. So if you actually would like to become an astrologer, I'd love to promote you after taking all the courses. You can apply to the RGA Network, and then I can promote your work in the world too. And so this is what we've been working on, really, because I just realized that there's also a lot of wonderful astrologers out there who are not necessarily like marketers. And I thought
Mm-hmm.
it's really important to get their voices out. So that's why we created that too. Anyway, um, the course, what I can say is that if you have, if you want to become an astrologer, yes, this is the course for you, because I can't tell you how many astrologers have graduated it and they're quite successful today. You can read the reviews on the course on the site. You'll see many
Mm-hmm.
names you know. If you don't want to become an astrologer and you're simply interested in it, uh, this is, I mean, you will learn so much about yourself, others, and probably relate this astrological wisdom to almost everything in your life. Um, Whether it is your physical practice, anything you do, you can say, well, here's where the moon is stayed. This is what's going on. It is so empowering to have this wisdom under your belt. So I highly suggest this course. However, I do also want to mention that it's not just me, it's about you and the constellation groups and the pods. Like the students, you will make friends for life. The people who've taken my class, whether it's 15 years ago or last year, they still hang out together. They go on retreats together. You will meet your tribe. I mean, this is what everybody tells me now. You'll meet great friends, you'll have community, and hopefully you will help to lift each other up and grow and develop as astrologers in the world. You'll invite each other to each other's podcasts or IG lives like we are here. You know, that's what I want to see. I want to see you all helping each other out more too, and I want to lift you up. So I'm inherently, I think, more of a teacher and a mentor in the work. So I love to see my students thrive in the world. This makes me so happy. Anyway, if you do have questions, you're certainly welcome to um, explore on my profile link. There's a link to the course page. You can certainly read more about it or write me things like that. Um, so yeah, that's a bit of a nutshell on the beginner's course called
And
Master the Birth Chart. Yes,
right, and I highly, highly, highly recommend it. This is why I love having you on here because every time I'm in your orbit, I learn something. And you're just such an amazing teacher. And for people who watch, I've been doing astrology and tarot for years, but I take classes all the time. And the classes that I've taken with Rebecca have really helped me gain new perspectives and more confidence. So if you're just starting out, or even if you're an old hat, check out this new class, get in there. It's going to strengthen your foundation. If you're new to this stuff, it's going to make you really starting off on the right foot. And it's going to just, again, help you to be confident with this knowledge. And this knowledge does work. So sign
thank
up.
you.
It's Rebecca, it's always such an honor. I love, love, love. I had a class with Rebecca not that long ago. Amazing. So
Oh,
she's one of my favorite teachers, so I'm just really glad that you're here sharing your wisdom and telling people about this new thing you're doing.
thank you so much for saying that, Teresa. It's an honor to hear that from you, and I learned so much from you as well. So this goes both ways. It's mutual. Just love you, and it's always great chatting with you here. Thank you so much. I hope you all enjoyed our Secrets of the Moon tonight.
Yes, and I hope everybody takes some of this information and thinks about it. Watch the replay. Look at where the moon is for your loved ones. You're going to get some hints here of what you need to know, and it's useful information. Once you understand your moon and other people's moons, you also know how to be in relationship with them. So
Yes.
at least that's what I think.
And life is all about relationships. Absolutely.
It is. All right. Well, we need to sign off. Rebecca, thank you. I hope you rest well tonight and enjoy the rest of your vacation in Ireland. So have a
Thank
wonderful
you.
time. And everybody else, have a great night. Go ahead, check out Rebecca's website, learn more about the class, and sign up. You're going to love it. So, all right, we got to sign off.
Good
Bye.
night, everybody. Thank you.